Doesn't matter to Joel Embiid. He just wants to be back on the floor if he feels good enough. Senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski is here with us as we dissect this Eastern Conference playoff picture here, Brian. How much of an impact could Joel's return have on that race?
It's a potential borderline disaster for one of these teams in the top of the standings who could end up getting a 7th or 8th seeded Philly team that's not really a 7 or 8 seed. If Joel Embiid doesn't get hurt, this team might have been a 2 seed. They could very easily, I mean, they're pretty much already in the play-in zone right now.
Right.
They could easily slide out of that. Even if he comes back in a month or so, they could still be into that. And then all of a sudden, we got the 2 seed. Who do we have in the first round? Oh, we've got the Sixers. That's no good, especially for the Cavs. The Cavs just lost twice to the Sixers without Embiid.
So I think the question for Philly is not just, is Joel Embiid going to return? Can he return to an MVP level or maybe an All-NBA level or an All-Star level? How long does it take him to do that? The idea that you are going to just rev up, get into the play-in tournament, maybe after just 10 days or 2 weeks, and that we're going to see the player we saw this season, last season, it is a lot to ask. So it's not just that they need Embiid back. They are built to they need a great Joel Embiid to be able to really make a run in the postseason.
I'll tell you why Joel Embiid wants to play. It's because he has suffered for a player to have so much success as an MVP and then a favorite, even so before he had his injury. He has suffered so much heartbreak in the postseason, and I think he wants to build his confidence up. I mean, this is a team that I feel like when you think about Joel Embiid, you think about 2019, what Kawhi did to his team and him being emotional about it. He wants to build confidence. So, yeah, the idea is that when he's peak performer, yeah, hopefully you can win a championship. But more importantly, I think he wants to win a championship in the future. And so, like, think about, his past. I wrote it down. 2019, Game 7 heartbreak. 2020, swept in the first round by the Celtics. 2021, lost to Atlanta. 2022, lost to the Heat after he missed 2 games in that series. 2023, you blew a series lead up 3-2. Like, he wants to get out there so that in the moment where he can build and find his confidence, he knows that carries through so that he can actually capitalize on these seasons moving forward.
Now, poor Sixers fans, they turn on the show and they just have Chiney outlining their horrible playoff heartbreak history one by one by one. Look, they're obviously a totally different team with Joel Embiid. Woj said it right, and Joel Embiid said it in his own words. He said, you can never tell how your body is going to react. So it's going to be wait and see, but it just can't be emphasized enough. This dude is averaging 35 points a game in 34 minutes a game. You can argue about Wilt and Jordan in this on a per-minute basis. This was the greatest scoring season in the history of professional basketball, and they just have no answer without him. It's just praying that Tyrese Maxey hits a bunch of step-back threes. Tobias Harris has been in a slump. But, yeah, these teams at the top will be checking out Embiid's health and where Philly is, because that would be a titanic first-round matchup for anybody.
Right. I mean, look at the Sixers' record with and without Joel Embiid. If the Milwaukee Bucks somehow creep up into the 7-8 matchup is against the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't know who I'm taking in that one. But if it is the Cleveland Cavaliers or a team like that, with no knock on Cleveland, that's a matchup for the Sixers I might like a little bit. Sticking in the Eastern Conference here, Woj, you broke some news this morning out of Charlotte. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm told that the Charlotte Hornets are finalizing a deal with Brooklyn Nets executive Jeff Peterson to become their new head of basketball operations. 35 years old. It's been a meteoric rise for Jeff Peterson in the NBA, from Atlanta's front office to Brooklyn. He replaced Trajan Langdon in Brooklyn, who went on to become the GM from Sean Marks' group in New Orleans. And now Jeff Peterson goes to a Charlotte team with new ownership, Rick Schnall, Gabe Plotkin. We're really trying to reshape that organization. They picked up some first-round picks, some young players at the trade deadline, and now Jeff Peterson leads that rebuild in Charlotte, now 35 years old, the youngest GM, or the youngest head of basketball operations, I should say, in the league.
Yeah, just 35 years old and taking on this job, and everything in Charlotte right now with Brandon Miller, with LaMelo Ball there. They have been moving very quickly to make decisions to really uplift these stars, because the future, it might take a little bit of time, but it can be very, very bright in Charlotte. Woj, thank you so very much. All right.
NBA